I don't think we're, okay. All right, now we're sharing the screen.
Should we have?
No, we're recording. He's just going to have to.
Good afternoon. My name is Craig Hammer, and I would like to welcome everyone to Prosperity Partners Wealth Management's ongoing webinar series. For those who may not be familiar with Prosperity Partners Wealth Management, we are a newer entity, but with many years of service to the Knoxville and surrounding communities. The company formed in July of this year when Swafford Financial, led by Allie Swafford, and Tennessee Retirement Strategists, led by Wesley Price, combined to form Prosperity Partners Wealth Management. Allie, Wes, and their staff have nearly 100 years of combined financial service experience. The commitment to this area is something that we're very, very proud of. Today, Wesley Price, one of the partners of Prosperity Partners Wealth Management, will be introducing a new diagnostic tool called Riskalyze. This is a tool that we believe will help us better serve our clients going forward. I'll now turn the webinar over to Wes to discuss this new important tool.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Wes Price. Welcome and thank you for being here this afternoon. We wanted to talk today a little bit about crafting an investment strategy with a really large focus on risk. Just a general housekeeping note here. So online participants, if you have any questions, please email Anthony at prosperitypartnerswm.com here in our office with any questions you want. We can answer those live at the end, or you can call me if you like at 865-523-9009, and I'll be glad to speak with you and answer any questions. What I want to do first, I guess, is let you view a little video that kind of is self-explanatory here. That's only about a minute and a half, something like that. And that's what we're out to do today, is to help our clients and anybody else that would like help, really to be a fearless investor. So what we want to talk about mostly today is risk. Over the years, there have been a lot of different ways to assess people's risk tolerance or their appetite for risk. And most of the time, that's done with a questionnaire. And those are, well, I would say weak at best. So this technology, this software that we have called Riskalyze is really cutting edge technology. It was the #2 software in finance last year. It's becoming very popular and it's very academically sound. So let's get started with that. So the old way that we've been assessing risk as the whole industry has for years and years is really stereotyping different people. Obviously, you would think of younger people as being more aggressive and someone that's middle-aged maybe to be moderate. And if you have some gray hair, a little bit like I do, and older, that you might be conservative. Well, most of the studies, there was an academic study that was performed that looked at this methodology really and found that 52% of 20 to 29-year-olds are not aggressive at all. And conversely, 53% of 70 to 79-year-olds aren't conservative. I even have some clients that are that way, that are more aggressive actually than you would expect. So this old approach is kind of going by the wayside. So Riskalyze is about finding your risk number. Everyone has one of these. It's a number between 1 and 99. 1 is like having cash under your mattress, and 99 is like having all your retirement investments in one particular stock. So the S&P 500, which is the stock market indicator, the broad U.S. stock market indicator that you see on the news every night, would be a 78 because it has 500 stocks. It has some diversification. But this risk number is unique to each individual person. A lot of times we let couples take it together. Sometimes when it's his money, her money, they like to take it separately because it is unique to each person. So the risk questionnaire is not very long. It takes about 5 minutes. You can determine kind of where you fall in that range. And again, there are no wrong answers to that. But what we're trying to do, in this case, is use our more than 100 years of combined experience in our firm, and really trying to get people to empower them and not have them be fearful and uncertain about their financial future. That's the main goal of this. And I'll show you a couple of examples here in a moment. So the questions would be, how much risk do you want, right? This is not how much you need or anything else, but how much are you actually comfortable with? So again, this, if you can see on the right side of the screen there, how much risk can you handle over the next 6 months? And this will actually show you a maximum amount of potential loss that you can get comfortable with. This is where I usually start, is how much risk are you willing to take, right? How much loss can you stand? Well, right now, everybody feels pretty good. Markets have been up for about 8 years. We haven't had any really tough times. Some volatility, but not too many tough times. Then on the upside, it also assesses, how much possible gain would you actually have there. So this is how much risk do you want. The next one is how much risk do you actually need to reach your goals. So this is a retirement map that actually can chart your path to retirement using a really simple approach. So we can plug in your investment amounts, your monthly savings, if you do have a retirement plan, what year you plan on retiring, how much monthly income you need in retirement, and it'll tell you pretty quickly what's your probability of reaching that goal. That's a really valuable piece of this software, and you can change it all you want. You can plug and play with it, so it's really good there, and it's really a good barometer that helps you figure out, can you reach those goals. So then the next one is, how much risk should you have, right? So we take all those factors that you used, including your personal risk score, to help build an optimized portfolio that fits your risk tolerance and goals, right? And so we can discuss all of that, but so what we will do is stress test that the current portfolio you have, also stress test the new portfolio if you need any kind of adjustment, and set those expectations for the future. So it really aligns your risk number with the current amount of risk you should have. So what I want to do is go to, so here's how much risk you should actually have, right? So you need all of that stuff in there to make sure that you're on track. What I'd like to do is switch now to actually a sample output that will tell us how this thing actually works. Okay, so this is an output page, actually, an investment policy statement. And I'll skip down to the important parts here. So this is an actual questionnaire. Actually not for a person, but one that I made as a sample. But this person's risk tolerance is a 47. So this is $1 million portfolio, just a sample one that says if you're a risk 47 currently, this is what you're comfortable with. So $1 million in the next 6 months has a 95% probability on the downside of not going lower than -9%, or in this case in dollar figures, which really makes it real to people, $87,000. On the upside, it's plus 14, $139,000 gain. So really, you're over the next 6 months, you're comfortable risking a -9% loss to get potentially a plus 14% gain over the next 6 months. And of course, you don't do it one time. You do this and you update it, as you go. So just to move on here real quickly, we'll go to the next thing. So retirement was this person's main goal, income, and then wealth accumulation. They were born in 1957 and intend to retire at age 66. Okay, and then so what we did was look at their current holdings. This is very common. So their risk score was 47, I believe. When we put their portfolio, looked at their current statements, they would have a risk score of 82. So what that analogy is like, it's very common. Most people have this. So their portfolio is a different number than their actual risk score that they're comfortable with. So this is like driving down, this best analogy is that I can think of is like having a convertible and driving down an East Tennessee country road. And you're comfortable doing 47 miles an hour down that country road that's probably curvy. And then when the curves come, which is, in this case, the volatility of the stock market in my example, you're going to be going 82 miles an hour down that country road in those curves. So you're probably going to have some white knuckles and some need some kind of Pepto-Bismol or something. So anyway, we find that pretty often. So this thing will analyze over 250,000 different specific investments that are out there. So things that are in 401ks and individual stocks and mutual funds and all kinds of different investments there. So those actually get plugged in and it comes up with a blended risk score. In this case, it's an 82. Over the next 6 months, the probability range is minus almost 19%. So this $1 million could drop $189,000. And again, these are just approximate, but it's a pretty good academic probability. So they're trading off a potential loss of 19% to have a potential gain of 26%. Not really what they're trying to do, particularly if they're going to retire in the next few years. So that's a little bit of risk, and most people, again, are not even aware of that. So if we go down, we can stress test this particular portfolio. So I think this is probably the most valuable piece for me. So on the left side of the page, it says risk of 78. That's the S&P 500 index. So it's going to look at really good years and really bad years. So 2013, the market was up 32%. When I say the market, I'm talking again about the S&P 500. Its risk score is 78. If you look and see what this portfolio would have done, 27.3. So a really good return, made $273,000 there. If you go down to 2008, everyone remembers that, minus 38%. If you just had all your money in the S&P 500, it went down $380,000, pretty painful. This portfolio was down not as much as that, but still down $340,000. Still a good bit more than you want to go and try and do again, probably. The financial crisis, which was just that 18-month period around 2007 through 2009, the overall market lost 53. This portfolio would have been down 45. So what do we do about that? This is what most people are trying to avoid. This is what we don't want to happen again. Hopefully this won't happen again in our lifetimes, but you never know. Given world events and things that are going on out there, it's just hard to tell. So what would we do about that? So most of the time, what we will end up doing is building a portfolio to match a client's risk score. So in this case, it was their risk tolerance score was a 47. We built a portfolio that's a 46. So now we took a dramatic amount of risk off the board. So if you go back and look here, go back and look just a second right here. The downside was minus 19 potentially with what they currently had, and the upside was 26. If I go back down to the reallocated portfolio, the downside now is just 8.5. The upside is less, but it's still pretty fair at 16.5%. And this again is a 95% probability over 6 months. Doesn't mean that it's going to go up this much or down this much. It could go outside of this either way, but it's only a 5% probability. But you can't ever say that it won't. So there's nothing is ever guaranteed in the markets, as everyone knows, but this is a way that we can get much closer. So if we look at the reallocated portfolio, back to the same numbers, 2013 markets up 32. This portfolio is up not as much as the one they have, 166,000. But more importantly, on the downside, another bad year, minus 38. Instead of minus 34, I believe it was on their existing portfolio. Again, nobody's happy with markets being down that much. But again, this is the worst market in 81 years since the Great Depression. So that's essentially what we're trying to do here, just in short and sweet this afternoon, is help people assess their risk, make sure they are where they need to be, particularly given that markets have been essentially going up since this crisis in 2008, 2009. And what we want to do is the time to talk about this, of course. I'm trying to build a sense of urgency with folks. This is ideal to do when markets are high. Once markets fall, it's really difficult to go back and undo the damage. So who knows what markets are going to do in the next 6 months or a year or 2 years. There probably is a correction out there somewhere. Most people feel that there is. It's normal. It's natural. So anyway, just wanted to bring this to you this afternoon and let you know there are tools out there that we can help people with. And if you have any questions about that, feel free again to email me with any questions, or feel free to give me a call at that number, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Thanks again for spending time with us this afternoon. We really appreciate it, and let us know if we can help. Thank you.